Warning: the following program may contain language and other elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. You've been fucking warned.
I'm gonna put a little salt in the atmosphere. I'm gonna make your mouth perspire. I'm gonna make a little treat guaranteed to be sweet. I'm gonna teach you how to dance with fire. Yeah, baby, let's get dishing. Step into my nutrition kitchen. Hey guys, Johnny Farrow here, and welcome to another episode of Musician Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make super simple and delicious Italian sausage and pepper and onion sandwiches. So here's what we got for ingredients here. We got, of course, Italian sausage. We got our rolls for our sandwich. We got an onion, bell peppers, garlic, salt, pepper, avocado oil, and balsamic vinegar. Very simple. This is one of my favorite recipes of all time for summertime. This is like the recipe that says summertime to me. This is how I know. You know, back home in Buffalo where I lived with my family, this was like summertime. If we were grilling, we were eating this, and it was so freaking glorious. You know, you go to the state fairs, the county fairs and things, this is one of the foods that's there, and that's a summertime thing. It's just one of those things that, again, just puts a smile on my face, and it says summertime to me. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by prepping up our peppers and onions and garlic, and then we're going to go ahead and take everything outside to the grill. So here we go. All right, so starting with l'oignon. Nipping off our end as we always do. This is a pretty big onion. I personally like onions, so I'm going to use this whole thing, but you don't have to. You know, you can just do half of this if you want or whatever. It's really up to you. Again, I'm an onion fiend, so yeah, onion's going to be happening. It's going to be in force. It's going to be out in force here. And I'm going to get lazy here and just take an extra layer off because peeling this stupid onion peel, as y'all know, frustrates the ever-loving shit out of me. And I'm hungry, so I want to get to cooking as fast as I can here. There we go. And again, just doing like, you know, 1/8-inch slices, something like that. Very, very simple. I don't know if you guys can hear, but my kitten's down on the other side of the kitchen, having her own little meal right now. Hello, Pepper. All right. And again, just like 1/8 of an inch. Like that's what we're looking at here. It's not, we're not going super thick with these at all. You can go a little thicker if you want, but personally, I like them about like this. You know, no more than 1/4 inch though, really, if you can manage it. Again, well, unless you like really super crazy thick onion. I mean, you know, personal preference, I suppose. All right. Now for our peppers. We first need to de-heart them, so we just do a little cut in half here. Pull out the heart. Just like that Kalima motherfucker from Indiana Jones. Kalima! You know, and I like to use, I'm not a big fan of green peppers. I like red and yellow are actually my two favorites. Flavor-wise, they're just the best. They're the sweetest, I think. You know, but orange peppers are fine too. I really don't like the greens. To me, they're just bland. They don't taste like very much, and I've never been a fan, you know, and I know some people that swear by green peppers, and that's their thing. For me, not so much. So I just cut those into julienne strips and then cut the strips themselves in half. You can do just the full-on julienne and not do the cutting in half part. That's up to you. Traditionally, they're probably left a little bit long. I like this because it allows for a little bit better distribution when you're putting your sandwiches together. Again, that's just my personal thing. I'm going to eat one of these. Oh, like I said, I'm hungry. And raw bell pepper is just freaking delicious. And these strips, you know, I'm not being super precise about it, but for the most part, they're like, I don't know, 1/2 inch in width, maybe. And then cutting them about in the midway point. But again, it's all going to go into a pan and get sauteed up, and, you know, just don't get too hung up on the width of it. by any means. All right, so we got our peppers and our onions here. They're all nice in our bowl. I like to toss them a little bit, let the onion break up a little bit. Get a sense of your distribution here too. That's about right. For me anyway, like I said, I like onions. If you want to go a little lighter on the onion, that's cool. But this will give us a nice flavor distribution, right? Now, our garlic. Our friend garlic. I'm going to do, I don't know, like, I don't go too crazy on the garlic with this because, you know, the sausage, by the way, it'll have seasoning, including, I'm sure there's garlic in there too. So, oh, that's a gross garlic. Yikes. All right. So I'm going to do like, because I have a fair amount of pepper and onion, I'll do 4 cloves, 4 decent sized cloves. Again, you want to go a little less, you can. And I'm just hitting them, whacking them with the back of my knife to get any skin loose. Some of these, actually, the skin just already popped off, so that's cool. That's always a nice little Christmas present when there's just no skin on your garlic. And then I'm going to whack them one more time with a little more force to flatten them and just pulverize them a little bit. All right, and then just mince them up, you know. If they're not crazy minced, that's fine. If you want to have more like chunks of garlic as opposed to the minced garlic, that's totally okay. Again, that's a bit of a preferential thing. All right. And just about done with that. That's about where I like it. Nice little mince, like I said. I'm just going to dump this into a little dish. And that is pretty much all she wrote for the prep. So at this point, I'm going to get my grill preheating. I'm going to let it preheat for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to go ahead and get rolling now. Just a note, I do have a side burner on my grill, so I'll be sauteing this stuff right alongside my meat so I can kind of watch both at the same time. If you don't have a side burner, it's okay. You know, you can go back and forth between the house and the grill. It's not a big deal. Sausage is pretty easy to cook, so it's not too complicated. It's not like you got to stand there and babysit it. So okay, here we go. I'll be right back with my grill all set to go, ready to throw some sausage on there for you. Stay tuned. All right, guys, we're back. Grill's been preheating about 10 minutes. I already cleaned it. So now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to throw a little avocado oil on it. And I actually have this really awesome avocado oil spray that I got at Trader Joe's a little bit ago. So I turned my heat down to low, and this is a lot easier to do than doing the paper towel thing. And you still got to kind of be careful and move around because obviously it's going to flare up a bit. But, bada bing. Grill's greased. There we go. All right. So, first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to get my pan, my side burner going. Get a little preheat on. There we go. Ha! See? Side burner. And throw a little avocado oil in there as well. Nice generous serving. That's probably like 2 to 3 tablespoons. Or so. I'm going to get my sausage on the grill here. And this is mild Italian sausage. You can also get the hot. I actually usually get the hot, but my wife's going to be eating this and she's not really into spicy. And I'm doing sort of doing the 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock thing. I don't pay as close attention to that with sausage, to be honest. Part out of laziness, part because honestly, usually the way it goes, the whole side of it ends up getting browned up anyway, so it's almost kind of pointless. But anyway, so you see they're on there. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to have them going on there for like, you know, I'll go like 5 minutes aside, flip, 5 minutes aside. And I'll usually do that a couple times on each side. So 15 to 20 minutes they're on the grill. You do want to make sure to cook the sausage thoroughly. It's ground up pork, you know, so you don't really want to fuck around with that, right? Trichinosis is not as sexy as it sounds. So now my oil's been going on the heat for like minute and a half. I'm going to go ahead and drop my veggies in there. Woohoo! Bada bing. Throw a little bit of salt, because I'm just a salty cat sometimes. I'm going to go kind of generous with this. I'm going like a couple teaspoons of salt on there, right? And then probably about, say about a teaspoon of pepper, black pepper. And we're going to go ahead and toss those. A little bit. Sizzly, sizzly. And that's it. We're just going to kind of let that roll, you know. Nothing too crazy here. Again, it's a very simple dish and a very satisfying one. By the way, make sure you turn your heat back up to high when you're searing your sausage. This is muy importante. Otherwise, they ain't going to cook right. And the other thing, too, is after I get a good sear, like the first 5 minutes per side will be open grill, high heat. Then what I'll do is I'll turn them over, drop the heat to a medium, and cover them, and do 5 minutes and 5 minutes. That way, they don't dry out, but they do cook through, which is kind of what you want, right? So there we go. So honestly, we're just going to kind of let these things go. I'm going to bring you back when I do my flip. But yeah, we're just going to let this stuff roll. I'm going to keep my veggies on a high heat. I'm going to keep them rolling on high and just kind of keep going over them. And then toward the end, when they're getting about done, that's when I'll throw in the balsamic vinegar and the garlic, because the garlic's a lot more delicate. The balsamic vinegar is very sugary, and I don't want to burn the shit out of the pan or get a bunch of just gross, like overly caramelized, sugary, you know, the balsamic vinegar all messed up and not so good on there. I want it to be a nice, you know, just beautiful flavor. So stay tuned for that. I'll bring you back for the flippies. All right, guys, so we are getting up to about the 5 minute mark here. I did quarter turn these guys about like 2.5 minutes in, like right after I turned the camera off. And by the way, my saute is going nice too here. Like it's actually cooking really fast. Obviously, the veggies will be done before the sausage. I'm going to turn them down to a little bit, like kind of like a medium low to a medium. We got some flare up happening here, but it's not too bad, so I just kind of leave it. It just gives it that nice char feel. Although I do want to note, definitely have a spray bottle on hand for when you're grilling, just in case you get like Mondo flare-ups. Number one, you don't want to burn your fucking house down. Number two, you don't want your food to turn into crispy critters, right? So definitely have that on hand. That's a big time, that's important. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn these. Flip them, and look at that. That quarter turn definitely did what it was supposed to do. But you can see how they're also just kind of doing like a more solid browning. That's just going to happen. The other thing to be aware of too, by the way, is that most grills have, you know, they're not evenly heated. You see these ones here are a little more brown than the ones on the end. So I'll also bring these and I'll kind of flop them around a little bit, right? Just to make sure we're getting the grilling love happening kind of evenly here. A little press. And you'll also see here, like this will happen, these will start to like burst, because what a sausage is, it's literally ground meat inside of a natural skin casing, or it can be a not natural one, but so this is like a skin casing with a bunch of raw meat stuffed into it. So that casing, that membrane will, you know, as the meat cooks and expands, it'll start to crack and break at times, and it'll start juicing out, and that can also cause your flare-ups, because the juices and the fats from the pork will just bleed out of it. That's what causes flare-ups a lot of times with sausage particularly, right? But so now I'm going to go ahead and let these go. Like I said, there'll be about another 5 minutes on this side, and then I'll do a flip and cook on like a medium heat for 5 minutes, and then another flip, cook on medium heat for 5 minutes, and then it'll be done. Now, our veggies here, again, are really kind of getting there. I do like to go until they start to caramelize a little bit, which we are getting there. I'm going to go back up again to like more like a medium high, not all the way up to high. And we will be adding our garlic and balsamic very shortly. But this is just beautiful. I mean, this is again what I like. I love, and I'm using red onions in here, by the way. You know, use whatever you like. Vidalias are nice, any kind of sweet onion. You can use white onions if you want, or yellow onions, but I like the reds. A, they look really nice. B, they have a nice flavor. They're a little stronger of an onion, and they have a nice sweetness to them that really comes out when you cook them. So they really are like my favorite. I'm going to squirt these a little bit, because this heat's just getting a little too happy for me. Little squirt. So now, while we're actually waiting to flip these, one thing I'll talk about here is, again, the wine pairing, or in this case, honestly, like, you can definitely do, well, like for me, food like this, grilling food, it's like it's beer drinking food, right? I'm not particularly a big drinker. I actually don't drink often at all. You know, at least I try not to. But I do like a good beer once in a while. I do like a nice glass of wine. You know, for me, this is like crack a bottle of Corona and throw a lime in it, and bam, you got like the ideal thing, right? But wine pairing wise, you got the sausage, which is a heavier meat, you know, and it's not like crazy like beef, and it doesn't have a super earthy, deep flavor like beef, but it is kind of a heavier meal. So with something like this, I'll usually pair it with a nice crisp white wine to kind of balance that out, and not like, you know, you don't want a heavy red to like overpower the taste of it, right? So I'll get like my ideal would be a Verdelho. I love Verdelho. There's a winery down in or up in Santa Barbara rather, called Oriana, that makes a freaking killer Verdelho. But you know, more commonly and widely available and more just, I guess, more accessible to more palates is, you know, like a Pinot Grigio or a Sauvignon Blanc would be perfect with something like this, and it'll also really complement the sweetnesses and the flavors that's coming out of these peppers and onions really nice. We're starting to get a little caramelizing on those, by the way. So I'm going to do my garlic trick, make a little oil center here. Throw like another teaspoon and a half or so in there, or a tablespoon and a half rather. And I'm gonna go ahead and just plop my garlic down into that middle section there. And just let the flavors of the garlic start releasing. I'm still on like a medium heat here, and I'm gonna keep it there for the moment. And oh my God, I wish you guys were here to smell this, because it is like, again, this is like the smell of summertime. This is like, wow, this is like kind of what I live for. Down, boy. See? Sometimes you got to talk dirty to it, but it'll listen. It'll listen. Oh, my bottle's broken. That sucks. I said down, boy. So anyway, so our garlic's been in there for 30 to 60 seconds. Now we're going to toss it around. And the reason I do that again, guys, is that letting it sit in that ring of oil for a bit, it just pulls the flavor out of the garlic. It releases it before you mix it in. And I do that. You don't want to keep the garlic on direct heat for too long, but I do that just to get that flavor really unlocked, right? And now I'm going to go ahead and toss, not a lot, a splash or two of balsamic vinegar. You know, that's it. We're just adding a touch of flavor, but the balsamic also nicely brings out the flavor in the peppers in particular. Really brings that bell pepper flavor out. And the veggies are done, you know, like, at this point, I would probably just turn the heat off and leave it until the sausage rather is finished. But oh my God, it's freaking incredible. So I'm turning that off. I would recommend honestly turning it off, because you got a ways before your sausage is done, and you don't want to leave it even on a low for like the next 10 minutes. That would just be too much, right? But you can turn it on again, like when the sausage is a couple minutes away, like throw it onto a medium heat just to kind of, if you want it warmer. I don't worry about it personally. It's kind of nice for me for it to cool off a little bit. Makes it easier to eat the sandwich when it's that time, you know? And I am not a man that likes to wait to eat, in case you guys haven't figured that out. All right, so we've been at about 5 minutes here. I'm gonna go ahead and lower this heat down to like a medium low. I'm going to spritz one more time, because that's just a little too happy of a burner for me. And, this is so exciting to me. Like, it's obscene actually how exciting this food is to me. But it really is that exciting. Like, I'd be lying if I told you it wasn't. All right, and I move these around a little bit more just to kind of shift for heat. So now, I might even take these off of these center burners, just because those burners are very happy. Like this, for me, my grill right here is about like the epicenter of heat, so to speak. So I'm going to kind of back this off of there a little bit. And I'm going to cover this. And I'm actually going to drop it all the way to low, come to think of it, because just because the juices are coming off of that, and it really is creating a heat flare scenario. So you want, in a case like that where you got a lot of breakage in your membrane happening, you got a lot of juices overflowing, you do want to keep it to the lower heat. But don't worry, you're covering it. It's going to cook through no problem, and it's still sitting on the grates, which are still very hot. So I'm going to go ahead and cook this under cover for 5 minutes, flip, and then cook another 5 minutes under cover, and then we'll be done. So stay tuned for the final product. All right, guys, we're back. These have been under cover now. I did 5 minutes, again under cover, turned, and then we're at the end of another 5 minutes. And these sausages, oh, the smell of that hitting me in the face is like, I don't like being hit in the face, but that can hit me in the face all day long. And just look at these fucking things. Like, this right here, this is like the perfect amount of char on these things. Like, these are gorgeous. Oh my God. Again, it's kind of ridiculous that this food makes me as happy as it does, but it really does make me that happy. I mean, aside from just tasting incredible, it's like, this is my childhood here, you know. This is like, my nana would make this stuff when we were growing up. This is, you know, when my aunts and uncles and everyone would get together in the summer, we'd be grilling, we'd be making sausage and pepper sandwiches, and it's just bellissimo, right? So, what I got here I got me some hoagie rolls. These are like standard run-of-the-mill, just white bread hoagie rolls. Nice, spongy, thick. They're not super, like they're a little crusty on the outside, but they're not super hard, right? This is, I like a nice soft hoagie roll, not like a baguette. Baguette's the outside is way too hard. And then what I do here, there's almost a technology, like a set of steps you got to follow. You can't just do this any which way. Like when I was a kid, I used to do this. You know, I would throw my sausage in there and then throw the peppers on top, and then it's like the peppers all fall off when you eat them. You can't do that. That just fucks everything up. So what I'm going to do here is take some of this pepper and onion concoction, throw it in the bottom of my bun. Oh, I'm throwing a little extra in there because, Jesus, this stuff is so good. Then we put our sausage on top. So here's what that looks like so far, and you can eat it just like this, and very satisfying, delicious, fucking incredible, right? But what I like to do is I got me a little bit of stone ground mustard. Let's do a little stripe of that. Raw. Looking gorgeous. And then some people consider this blasphemy, I'm sure, but I do like ketchup on my sausage. So I am going to go ahead and throw a little splash, a little line of ketchup here. And there you have one of the most simple and freaking delicious summer dishes of all time. This is a Italian sausage sandwich with peppers and onions. Holy shit. So guys, I hope you love this recipe. I hope you try this recipe. Seriously, do yourself a favor. I'm gonna turn my grill off real quick here so my sausage doesn't burn, because I hate it when my sausage burns. Nobody likes that. But guys, I really hope you try this. It's such a great recipe. It's a crowd pleaser. And it's like, I don't know, man, it's summertime. It's summertime in a bun, you know what I'm saying? So guys, until next video, I'm Johnny Farrow. Have an incredible rest of your week. Have a happy, safe summer. I hope your 4th of July was great. This is also a great one for holidays. Labor Day is coming up in a couple months, so keep this one in mind for Labor Day. It's a fantastic one for that. And guys, until next video, I'm Johnny Farrow. I'll see you later. Mwah.